So we've gone, since the last time we've taken a look, I had done the month of October. Now to do a little catch up, we're going to do the months of November and December. So to bring us all together here, we are on January 4th. This will be the next game that we play, the Colorado Avalanche and the New Jersey Devils, but that'll be in the next video. The last one that just came out was the Buffalo Sabres and LA Kings. That took place in-game a couple weeks ago. That's the December 21st game. I believe in that video I said there'd be 2 games on the 21st, but I got a couple little scheduling things mixed up. There's going to be a game on the January 4th and the January 5th. It'll be Colorado and New Jersey, and then Chicago and Detroit. Those will be in the next 2 videos that come out after this one. This one, though, just the stats and standings. So we'll take a look at the league standings to start. Starting off with the Central Division, home of the Colorado Avalanche, since that's where that's bringing us up here first. The 3 playoff positions in this one. The St. Louis Blues with a record of 25-12-5. They have 55 points. They've got a bit of a runaway with the division lead so far. In behind them, the Dallas Stars, 22-17-3. And the Winnipeg Jets, 18-14-9. Have the 3 divisional playoff spots. We see that the Colorado Avalanche have the wild card. They sit a point behind the Jets with a record of 19-16-6. In behind them, out of the playoffs, the Nashville Predators, who had started off pretty greatly in the first month. I sort of predicted they would fall off with some of the stats that had came up then, and the performance of Pekka Rinne. We'll see what Pekka Rinne is up to. Maybe he fell off a little bit, or just the team in general did. We'll figure that out. The Blackhawks, an original 6 team out of the playoffs. A bit of a surprise there. Just barely 500, 19-19-4. A little NHL 500 there with the regulation wins and losses. And then the Minnesota Wild round out the Central. Respectable record for them. One of the newer expansion teams. Still hanging around the mix here. So that's not too bad for them so far. 16-19-6 through 41 games for them. That's the Predators there. Got some games in hand on everybody though. So being 2 points out of the divisional playoff spot, 1 point out of the wild card, a good spot for them. So a good battle here in the Central, and by the placement of the wild card, looks like it'll be a good battle for the whole West. We'll take a look at the other Western Division, the Pacific. The Las Vegas Golden Thrashers of Atlanta. They're continuing on, and they're one of the best teams in the league. Who would have thunk it? 31-11-2 so far for them. They are the top of the Pacific. This is the Franken team of the Las Vegas Golden Knights and Atlanta Thrashers alumni. Not a whole lot of talent on that team compared to everybody else, but they are absolutely killing it so far. We'll go take a look at their team stats later on and see what's going on there more in depth. But so far, they are leading the Pacific, and leading the West too. So good for them. They've got the Edmonton Oilers and LA Kings behind them in the divisional playoff spots. The Oilers only 2 points behind with a game in hand. They got a record of 29-10-4. The Kings, 2 Gretzky teams fighting it out here. Second and third in the Pacific. So far, it'd be Gretzky versus Gretzky in the playoffs, so that's fun. 24-15-3 are the Kings. The Arizona Coyotes, Phoenix Coyotes, alumni teams, 20-19-4 have the other wild card spot. That's in behind they are tied with the Avalanche for that spot. The Anaheim Ducks just behind them, 1 point behind. So a nice little race at the bubble here between the wild card teams. 19-7-5 for the Ducks. Vancouver hanging right around there too. 19-19-3. The Flames just a point behind them, 18-21-4. And then the San Jose Sharks, worst in the Western Conference so far, with only 33 points, a record of 16-25-1 so far for them. Heading over to the East, what I expected to be the best division, the Atlantic Division. We'll see what's going on there, and not so much compared to the rest of the league. Maybe they're just having trouble since they have to play each other so much. Maybe that's why we're seeing the point totals lower, but compared to the West, they're the worst division leader so far. That's the Montreal Canadiens with 49 points. 24-16-1 for them. The Ottawa Senators, a surprise to see them up this high, especially in this division. They're second, 21-17-3. The Boston Bruins, I believe they were pretty low the first time we saw them. After the October update, they've found their way up into a divisional playoff spot. 21-18-3, tied with them in points. The Detroit Red Wings, they have the first wildcard spot, 20-17-5. And the Toronto Maple Leafs have the other wildcard spot. I believe they were the top of the division last time we took a look. So they've fallen off a bit. 20-18-4 for them. That's about what we expected as far as playoff spots go. All 5 of them going to the Atlantic, but to see the Senators up there and how low these point totals are and win totals are for this Atlantic is a bit surprising so far. The Florida Panthers, just a point behind the Leafs, 2 points behind the Red Wings, Bruins, and Senators for that cluster of the divisional spots and the wild card. Just a tight race here in the Atlantic and the East. 19-16-5 for the Panthers. The Buffalo Sabres, I thought they'd be a little better than this. Not so much so far. 17-20-5. When we took a look at the Sabres and Kings, I had mentioned that Hasek at that point was working with a 917 save percentage. So respectable, but not quite Dominic Hasek levels. Maybe that's why they're having some issues there. 2 games in hand for the Panthers, so that's a good spot for them to be in. And the Tampa Bay Lightning round off the Atlantic Division, but they've got a couple games in hand as well. Only 39 games played for them. A record of 17-19-3. So a very tight Atlantic Division so far. Take a look at the other eastern side here. The Pittsburgh Penguins lead this division. Only 1 point ahead of their rivals, the Washington Capitals. 27-10-3 for the Penguins. 26-12-4 for the Capitals. The Hurricanes just a couple points behind them. 25-13-3. Have the other divisional spot. No more playoff spots for the Metro so far. 43 points for the New York Islanders. 4th place of that division. That puts them a point behind the Leafs, 2 points behind the Wings with a couple games in hand. Decent amount of games in hand. 3, I believe, right? Yeah, 3 games in hand for the Islanders. So they're very much in that wild card conversation with a record of 20-16-3. The Columbus Blue Jackets doing well so far. Another one of the newest expansion teams alongside the Minnesota Wild. They're hanging in there. They've got a spot against some teams I thought would be some powerhouses here in the Rangers, Flyers, and Devils, so they're finding their footing with a record of 18-19-4. And the underperformers so far at the bottom, the New York Rangers, an original 6 team, 16-17-7. The Philadelphia Flyers with a record of 17-21-3. And the New Jersey Devils. We'll have to see what's going on with them. We knew that offense might be an issue for them, but between defense and Martin Brodeur in the net, we thought just like they did so well in the late 90s and early 2000s, thought that might reflect here, but not so much so far. A record of 17-21-2 for them. That's the divisional. We'll take a quick little peek at the conferences here. So there's your top 8. Clearer view of the playoff picture. Penguins, Capitals, Hurricanes, Canadiens, Senators, Bruins, Red Wings, and Leafs are the playoff teams, with the Islanders, Panthers, Blue Jackets, Rangers, Sabres, Lightning, Flyers, and Devils on the outside looking in. As for the West, your top 8 there, the Golden Thrashers, the Oilers, Blues, Kings, Stars, Jets, Avalanche, and Coyotes make up the playoff spots, with the Predators, Ducks, Blackhawks, Canucks, Flames, Wild, and Sharks on the outside. We'll take a little deeper look at team stats here now, as we'll look into the whole league. Yeah, we have the Vegas Golden Thrashers of Atlanta at the top of the board in terms of points, with the Oilers just behind them to the east. A little lacking behind the West so far, but a little hard to judge those with the scheduling and all that. What we're going to do now is take a look at goals for, goals against, and special teams. So we're going to do it per game. The top goal-scoring team so far, the Edmonton Oilers. Not much surprise there. Some big-time offense. Second behind them, the LA Kings. So if it turns out if you have Wayne Gretzky on your team, you might score a lot. And behind them, so you get the 3 top ones here, kind of in a league of their own. The Oilers, Kings, and Washington Capitals. So Gretzky, and Ovechkin. Getting it done there at the top. Well, that's the assumption, of course. We'll see it when we break it down. Maybe, I don't know, one of the other guys is just randomly way good, but I think it's safe to say it's probably Gretzky and Ovechkin. Moving on through here, we'll just take a look. I won't won't read them all off, but you can see them here. Everybody in that 3.2 range. the 3.1s, and once you start getting down here, everybody right around 3 goals per game. As we'll see the bottom few here. The Minnesota Wild, New York Rangers, and Nashville Predators, the bottom 3. With the Blue Jackets, Leafs, Devils, and Sabres. The Leafs a bit of a surprising one there with how low they are as a playoff team. And with the offense they have up front, that's a strange one. Pretty much everybody down here is about what you would expect, except for the Leafs. And the Red Wings pretty low too. So we'll see if they can maybe turn that around. The Islanders a bit of a shock to be that low. But there's your goal scorers. We'll take a look at some goals against stats here. We'll turn it around the other way. The best defensive team in the league is still the Nashville Predators. So Pekka Rinne might still be holding on, but just the offense not quite getting it done. They've got a positive goal differential though. So that's still helpful for them, but they just haven't been able to win games since in the last couple months. The Pittsburgh Penguins, they were up there in goals for. They're up here in goals against, and that's why they're third in the league. The Toronto Maple Leafs making up for the lack of offense with some pretty okay defense. They're just about dead even on the goal differential here. So not as great for them. The Oilers, second in the league in points. They're up here as well in the goals against. The Thrashers, I see them a bit farther down. They're the top team in the league. They aren't leading in goals for. They aren't really up there in goals against. It's just they're just finding ways to win. So good for them. As we'll roll through it here a little slowly. We'll get to the bottom of the pack. We'll take a look at the bottom 5 or so. The Vancouver Canucks, the worst defensive team in the league. And we've got the Sharks, Senators, and Avalanche sort of on their own island, followed by the Flames and Kings, and then it sort of falls into more of an average after that. So you can see the bottom teams there on goals against. Power plays. Best power play in the league belongs to the LA Kings and the Edmonton Oilers. So, again, having Gretzky, pretty good. Washington Capitals third. So, the top 3 teams in goals for are also the top 3 teams in power play. Philadelphia Flyers were up there. We saw they were more near the bottom end of the goals for, but when they get a power play, that's when they seem to be doing their scoring. So it seems like 5-on-5 is the issue for the Flyers offense. Same thing with the Flames. And they see the Leafs up in there too. So got some teams that are really good on the special teams when it comes to getting goals and scoring chances, but not so much at 5-on-5. And that's why we're sort of seeing them more as bottom or middle teams here. Only 2 teams up above 25%. That's the Gretzky teams, the Kings and Oilers. And, of course, the Washington Capitals at 25.5 with the power play juggernaut that is Alex Ovechkin. Again, another stat where the Thrashers are just average. Not even making that 20% that you sort of want to be hovering around. The Red Wings with a difficult power play so far. We'll see at the bottom here. The Sharks, got a feeling they'll be at the bottom of most of these lists. Same thing with the Rangers. Not so great for them. Teams that are struggling on offense, struggling on power play, so that checks out. As well as see the penalty kills. Best penalty kill in the league belongs to the Boston Bruins. I'd say they had the best defense core coming into this, and it's working out so it's working out well for them so far. On the penalty kill side, anyway. Not as much in the regular goals against, but still respectable there. The Edmonton Oilers, some fantastic special teams for them. 86% on the penalty kill, and they don't take a whole lot of penalties either. We see the Bruins here, the 161 times shorthanded. They need a good penalty kill. 40 more penalties taken than the Oilers, who are second behind them, and the Penguins just behind them too. So we see everybody sort of at the top here on the low end of taking penalties, except for the Bruins. That's probably the most in the league. Yeah, it is. By about 15. So they need the best penalty kill, and they've got it. Down near the bottom here. So this is where the Canucks are having their biggest issue. Look at that drop off from 75.7 to 70.3. The worst penalty kill in the league belongs to the Sabres. That'll definitely put a big chunk into their goals against issues there. With how bad that penalty kill is. Down around the bottom 5, the Hurricanes, Avalanche, Blue Jackets, and Ducks round that off. I always like to look at shorthanded goals just for fun. Only one team with 5, Colorado. Anybody with none? Yeah, a couple teams with none. Sabres, Stars, Kings, and Rangers. So that'll do it for the team stats there. Let's go take a look at some individual players. We will look at the league and then quickly run through each team. Points leader so far, Wayne Gretzky on the Edmonton Oilers. He's also fourth in the league with the LA Kings with one less game played over there. So we'll run through the top 10 in points. Wayne Gretzky, Danny Heatley of the Golden Thrashers, Connor McDavid of Edmonton, two of the top three belonging to the Oilers. Gretzky and Palffy, that duo over in Calgary, rounds off the top 5. Bobby Orr, the top scoring defenseman, followed by Mary Lemieux, Mike Ridley of Washington, Pavel Bure, and Pavel Bure again. First with Vancouver and then with the Panthers. So I'd sort of hinge everything on Ovechkin, but Mike Ridley doing some good work there for the Capitals as well. We see Ovechkin there rounding that off. Did I get 10? Yeah, I did. So there's your top 10 in points. We'll take a look at goals here now. Danny Heatley is the leader in goals with 32 so far. Pavel Bure from Florida, tied with second with Wayne Gretzky of the Oilers. Bobby Hull, Rocket Richard, Paul Correa, Mary Lemieux, Alexander Ovechkin, Dino Ciccarelli, and Connor McDavid, with Mike Bossy tied with him for 10th in goals. Now assists, Nicholas Backstrom, only 7 goals but 35 assists for him. So the Backstrom-Ovechkin tandem keeping that up. Wayne Gretzky of the Kings leads in assists. So Oilers Gretzky is scoring, Kings Gretzky is passing. That's fun. Bobby Orr with 32 assists, Ilya Kovalchuk as well. So there's that duo for the Golden Thrashers, Heatley and Kovalchuk. They needed to depend on them to do well. They have done well, and so have those two. Ed Jovanovski up there with Erik Karlsson, Alex Barkov, Paul Coffey, Kent Nielsen, Adam Oates, Brett Hall, John Carlson, rounding out the top 10 with the Tides there at 30. So anything else I want to look at for the whole league? Nope, I think we're good with just the basic ones there. We'll take a look at the goalies. Get an idea what scope to use. 30 games? Maybe 25? Yeah, let's go with 25. Not quite. 20 it is then. Minimum 20 games played. Games played leader is Marc-Andre Fleury of Vegas and Atlanta with 39 games played. Grant Fuhr of Edmonton's behind him. That's a bit of a shock with the tandem of Ranford behind him that's available there. Joseph Rask, another surprise with Cheevers behind him. Evgeny Nabokov, Braden Holtby, Henrik Lundqvist, Dominik Hasek, Billy Smith, and Pekka Rinne, with Patrick Lalime, Patrick Waugh, Connor Hellebuyck, Mika Kiprusoff, Roberto Luongo, all tied for 10th place there. In games played, we'll see wins. Fleury, Fuhr, Joseph, Holtby, Luongo, Plant, Lalime, Archers Urbe, Billy Smith, Tuukka Rask, Marty Brodeur, Pekka Rinne, Tom Barrasso, Sergei Bobrovsky rounds off the top 10 and change. In wins, losses, not where you want to be at. Evgeny Nabokov and Mika Kiprusoff at the top there. With Tuukka Rask, Bernie Parent, Marty Brodeur, Dominik Hasek, Devin Dubnyk, Patrick Lalime, Billy Smith, Pekka Rinne, Roberto Luongo rounding off the top 11 there with the tied for 10th. Shutout leaders, a big bunch with 3. Terry Sawchuk, Grant Fuhr, Johnny Bauer, Tom Barrasso, Sean Burke, and Sergei Bobrovsky, all with 3 shutouts. Best save percentage goes to Tom Barrasso. He's only got 25 games played, though. Behind him is Pekka Rinne. So he's still been continuing his hot streak, but the Predators just not quite keeping up with him like they were in the first month or so. Dominik Hasek, a similar story for him. doing really well, but his team not so much. Marc-Andre Fleury, the other goaltender in the 920 group, his team certainly working with what he's given them. Curtis Joseph, Sergei Bobrovsky, Marty Brodeur, Grant Fuhr, J.S. Jaguar, Devin Dubnyk, Henrik Lundqvist round off the top 10 with the Tides there at 913. Goals against. The most goes to Roberto Luongo of the Panthers. He's also there for the Canucks. So no matter which team he's on, not having a great time. Flipping around the other way here. Tom Barrasso. Oh, I didn't check that for the save percentage. We'll see the worst save percentage. It's Roberto Luongo twice. 891 with the Panthers, 887 with the Canucks. Patrick Roy, a bit of a big surprise there for the Avalanche, an 889 for Patrick Roy. I believe I have him as an 99 overall, and not playing like one so far. If the Avalanche are going to have a chance at all, he's going to have to turn that around. They don't have much for a backup, if I remember correctly, either, so not so great there for Patrick Roy. See the bottom of the save percentage crew. It'll be about the same for the goals against guys here, as you can see. There's your bottom 10. Top 10 I'll run through a little slower. Tom Barrasso, Pekka Rinne, Curtis Joseph, Dominic Hasek, Grant Fuhr, Marc-Andre Fleury, Sergei Bobrovsky, J.S. Jaguar, Martin Brodeur, and Henrik Lundqvist. Goalies with penalties? There are none. Goalie goals. There has been one goalie goal to speak of. It belongs to Grant Fuhr of the Edmonton Oilers. Assists, a big bunch of players with 2. Patrick Roy, Jacques Plante, Johnny Bauer, Pekka Rinne, Ed Belfour, and Mike Smith. And they are also your leaders in points, since Fuhr didn't have an assist to speak of. So there's your league leaders. We'll just quickly run through the teams and get an idea of what's been going on there. Get rid of the minimum game. I won't run through everybody, but we'll just see the top point scores. And you can sort of see the breakdown of who's there near the top. And goals as well. So Paul Kariya leads the Anaheim Ducks in points. He also leads them in goals. There's your top 9 there. And your top 9 on assists, the assist leader for the Ducks, Adam Oates. Arizona Coyotes top point scorer, Keith Tkachuk with 40 points in 43 games. He is also their top goal scorer, tied with Shane Doan with 16. And Keith Tkachuk, second in assists to Jeremy Roenick's 27 assists, puts him at the top. Boston Bruins, Bobby Orr, their top point scorer. 10 more points than second place Milt Schmidt. He unsurprisingly leads them in assists. And Phil Esposito is the goal scoring leader for the Bruins. Buffalo Sabres, Rick Martin, 32 points. Leads the team. Good cluster here for second place with 30. LaFontaine, Perreault, and Robert, that French connection line, doing well for them. Martin leads in assists. And 3 players top the goal scoring. It's LaFontaine, Perreault, and Robert. Calgary Flames, Kent Nielsen leads them in points with 37. He'll also lead with assists with 30. And the top goal scorer, Jerome McGinley, with 17 goals. Ray Whitney leads the Carolina Hurricanes with 41 points. Eric Stahl is their assist leader. And Ray Whitney will get the lead in goals. For the Blackhawks, Bobby Hull leads them with 39 points. Jonathan Toews and Stan Mikita will share the assist lead with 21 each. And Bobby Hall's 27 goals leads the team there. Colorado, Peter Stastny is their top point scorer so far. Nathan McKinnon just a point behind him. They are tied with Joe Sakic for the assist lead, 19 assists each for Sakic, McKinnon, and Stastny. And Stastny shares the lead in goal scoring as well with Alex Tangay and Valery Kamensky. Columbus Blue Jackets, Nikolai Zherdev leads them with 30 points. RJ Umberger, their leader in assists. And Nikolai Zherdev's 19 goals leads the team. Brett Hull leads the Dallas Stars with Tyler Seguin and Jamie Benn 1 point behind him. He'll lead them with assists as well with 30. And the top goal scorer, Dino Ciccarelli with 22. Sid Abel leads the Detroit Red Wings with 33 points. Let's see how far down Gordie Howe is there. There's a bit of a surprise. Henrik Zetterberg is the assist leader with 21. Pavel Datsyuk hot on his heels with 20. And Ted Lindsay just behind them with 19. So you can see the list there. Everybody sharing assists pretty well. Top goal scorer, Sid Abel with 16. Edmonton Oilers led by Wayne Gretzky and Connor McDavid, 51 and 49 points each for them. Most assists goes to Paul Coffey with 30. And most goals goes to Wayne Gretzky with 31. Florida Panthers led by Pavel Bure's 44 points. Ed Jovanovski's 31 assists leads that team. And Bure's 31 goals far and away leads for them. Golden Thrashers, Danny Heatley leads with 49. We see Kovalchuk and Vyacheslav Kozlov rounding off the top three there. So those are the three this team has been leaning on. Top assist goes to Ilya Kovalchuk. Top goals goes to the current league leader, Danny Heatley. LA Kings, Wayne Gretzky leads another team here with 49 points. He's also got their most assists with 33. And the most goals goes to Zygmunt Palffy with 20. Minnesota Wild led by Marian Gaborek's 34 points and 26 assists. Most goals for them goes to Andrew Brunette with 14. Montreal Canadiens led by 40 points. And Guy Lafleur. He also leads them in assists with 26. And fittingly, the Rocket himself, Rocket Richard, leads in goals for the Canadiens so far. Nashville Predators. Alex Radulov leads them with 31. He's tied for the assist lead with Philip Forsberg and has the goal lead to himself, 2 goals ahead of Greg Johnson. New Jersey Devils led by Zach Parise's 33 points. 28 assists of Scott Niedermayer is their assist leader. And the most goals goes to Taylor Hall, who I had put on this team, who's already gone. So, you know, maybe I shouldn't have put him here, but here he is. And he's their top goal scorer. So, and just like modern day real life, he's their top goal scorer, and they're near the bottom of the league. So maybe I should trade him to Arizona. I don't know. New York Islanders, Mike Bossy leads them with 38 points. Dennis Potvin leads the assists with 23. And Mike Bossy leads in goals with 21. See the rest of the points. Top 9 there. John Tavares in second. Jean Rattel for the New York Rangers leads them with 29 points. I haven't been keeping track, but I think that's the lowest a points leader has been so far. Mark Messier 2 points behind him with 27. Rattel leads in assists with 25. And goal scorer Steve Vickers has the lead there with 12. The Ottawa Senators led by 41 points of Daniel Alfredson. Erik Karlsson, their top assist leader with 30. And most goals goes to Danny Heatley. He's been scoring all kinds no matter what team he's on, too. Less so here than with the Thrashers, but still a goal leader. Philadelphia Flyers, Claude Giroux leads them with 35 points. Mark Recchi has the assist lead, just up by 1 over Bobby Clark, 27 and 26 each for them. And Eric Lindros leads in goals with 18. Let's take a little look there. Can't see their top defenseman. See if we can find one. Mark Howe, 15 points. Oh boy. Pittsburgh Penguins, Mario Lemieux, unsurprisingly leads them with 45 points. Gotta go a pretty decent ways back to find Sidney Crosby, only 20 points for him so far. But they're second in the league, so, or second in the conference? They're up there anyway. You'd think I'd remember this, it was a second ago, but nope, not so much. Lemieux leads in points with 45. Jaromir Jagr leads in assists with 27. And Mario Lemieux leads in goals with 24. San Jose Sharks, led by Jonathan Chichu and Vincent Damphus, 32 points apiece. Joe Thornton, their leader in assists, 24 assists, 3 goals for Joe Thornton. How very Joe Thornton of you. And Jonathan Chichu leads in goals with 18. St. Louis Blues, led by Vladimir Tarasenko's 35 points. Pavel Dimitriou and Keith Tkachuk 1 point behind him. Tkachuk leads in assists with 25. And Pavel Dimitriou leads in goals with 17. Tampa Bay Lightning, led by Steven Stamkos' 35 points. Vinny Lecavalier way down there with 19. Stamkos leads in assists with 23. And tied with Nikita Kucherov for the lead in goals with 12 each. The Toronto Maple Leafs, led by Thomas Caberlet. Okay, sure. Sure. Sounds good. Most assists to Matt Sundin. Yep, noted not a goal scorer at all, Matt Sundin. What is going on with Toronto? That's hilarious. 23 assists for Matt Sundin. 3 goals. Sure. Top goal scorer? Yeah, Thomas Caberlet. Never shot a puck in his life, but he's the leading goal scorer with 17 goals. All right. Sure. This might be why Toronto's not doing as well anymore, but we'll see. As I did last time, after the first month, I went through and changed a lot of lines that weren't working. I'm going to go look through this a little bit more in depth myself after the video and see if there's any changes that need to be made. Of course, I'm talking about it now with the Leafs because I keep a little more special eye on them, of course. But I do go through every team and make changes there. So clearly, if I was favoring the Leafs, it's not working anyway. There's the second wild card, so I am favoring the Leafs. I just am. Whatever, it's my thing. I'm going to do it. Pavel Bure leads the Vancouver Canucks with 45 points. He also leads them in assists with 26. And Alex McGillney leads them in goals with 20. Bure just behind him with 19. Washington Capitals, Mike Ridley leads the team. Alex Ovechkin and Nicholas Backstrom in tow. Ovechkin leads in goals with 22. Ridley just behind him with 20. How good do I have him? 86. Pretty good, yeah. And the last team, this is just the skaters. We'll go through the goalies just after this. Teemu Selanne and Blake Wheeler lead the Winnipeg Jets with 41 points apiece. They're also tied for the assist lead. And they're tied in goals, but Patrick Laine has one more, so he's the goal leader. 17 goals for Patrick Laine. And there's your goals and assists and points leaders for every team, with a little look at sort of the top 9 there. We're going to take a look, go back to the top, and just run through the goalies real quick, starting with the Anaheim Ducks. J.S. Shagir has played 31 games, working with a .913 save percentage so far for him. Guy Hebert has found his way into 11 games, and .899 for him. Arizona Coyotes splitting it pretty well here. Sean Burke and Mike Smith, 25 and 20 games apiece. A .903 for Burke, a .910 for Smith. Tuukka Rask has been getting all kinds of starts, and Cheevers only has 8, but he's rocking with a .933 and a .903. I believe last time I tried to change Cheevers into the starter for them, and I've got auto-rotate goalies on, and they're just going back to Rask. So I just wonder what's going to happen. I'm going to go, I'll probably change it again and see if it'll stick, but the game seems to be deciding that Rask is the starter. I believe Rask has the edge in the overall, so that's probably why. But it's not that big that it should be totally giving it to him, but that's what they're doing, so I'm not going to micromanage every single one like that, so I guess this is just what's happening with Boston right now. They're sticking with Rask, and it's gotten better than where it was before, so it's working for him, I guess. Dominik Hasek has played 35 of 44 games. Has a .921 save percentage. Ryan Miller is back up at .863, so not much of a backup there for Hasek, but he's used to that. Mika Kiprasov has 34 games played. Mike Vernon with 10. A .900 for Kiprasov and .888 for Vernon. Archer's Urbe, 31 games played for him, 12 for Cam Ward, a .902 for Urbe, and a .905 for Ward. Glenn Hull has been getting the starts for the Blackhawks, 29 of them, 15 going to Tony Esposito, .894 for Hall, .907 for Esposito. Yeah. Patrick Waugh, we saw him earlier at the bottom of the save percentage charts. He's gotten 34 starts. Semyon Varlamov only with 8. He's not doing much better, only a .907 for him through 8 starts. .889 for Patrick Waugh. If he can't turn that around, that'll be it for the Avalanche, that's for sure. Sergei Bobrovsky doing his job in Columbus, a .918 so far for him with 31 starts. Mathieu Gatto is their backup with an .876 so far. So Dallas Stars have the tandem of Ed Belfour and Marty Turco, but they've been giving Belfour most of the starts. He's a .904, similar to the Boston situation here. We've got Marty Turco doing great as the backup. Belfour not so much as the starter, but more games going to Belfour. I think this one's a little closer, 90 and 88. Yeah, so I'll go make the switch there and see if it sticks. Two goaltenders not doing so great here for Detroit. Terry Sawchuk is the starter with 33. He's got a .903. Chris Osgood behind him with a .901. So similar to Roy here, a really good goaltender, underperforming. If they're able to find their stride, that'll really change their whole team's outlook. Edmonton Oilers, well, I questioned earlier why Freer was getting so many starts. He's got 37 to Bill Ranford 7, but Ranford an .890 for him, a .913 for Fuhr. So this team seems to know what it's doing. They're one of the top teams in the league as well. So they're riding with Grant Fuhr, and it's working for the Oilers. Florida Panthers, oh boy. Roberto Luongo at .891. James Van Beesbrook with only 16 games played to Luongo's 27. I believe I did make a switch here, and it has stuck a little bit. I believe Luongo was like a bona fide starter. I had to go double check it, but I believe Luongo was sort of a bona fide starter the first time. Made the switch to Van Riesbroek. He's doing well. And Panthers were sitting in that wild card bubble, so just purely based on memory, I haven't double checked, but I think they've made the switch to Van Riesbroek, and it's working. So there's the goalie situation there for them. Marc-Andre Fleury at 920. We saw him in the league leaders for goaltenders with the Golden Thrashers. Johan Hedberg is his backup. Only 5 games played and 888 for him. Los Angeles Kings, they've got a tandem going on, 23 and 24 apiece. Rogie Vachon and Jonathan Quick. Quick has the lead in wins and a slight edge in save percentage. Both goaltenders not doing so great in the save percentage shot, though. We saw Quick outduel Dominic Hasek in the last game there. But that seems to be a one-off. He's not even quite in the 900 club yet. Minnesota Wild, Devin Dubnyk is their starter with 33 games played. He's rocking a 913 save percentage. Dwayne Rollison behind him with an 898. Montreal Canadiens, another team with some big-time goaltenders who underperforming. A 904 for Jacques Plante, a 903 for Carey Price. Plante's been getting the starts. We might consider the 94. Hard to switch out the 94. Got to keep Plante in there, and hopefully he can turn it around. Or if the game decides to put Price in, good for them, that's for sure. Nashville Predators, look at the goaltending they're getting. Holy mac. 34 games played for Pekka Rinne, and 927 for him. He was right up against the top of the league leaders. And Chris Mason, this is the best backup so far by far. Only 7 games played, but 942 for him. So offense is the issue for the Predators. It's certainly not goaltending. Martin Brodeur doing better than I thought he was, based on how bad the Devils are. He has a 500 record for him, 33 games. Chris Terreri is the backup, only with 8, a 916 for Brodeur, and 882 for Terreri. So he's got to keep doing what they're doing. Bordeur's giving them at least average. He's got to be better than average, though, it looks like. New York Islanders, Billy Smith has 34 games played, a 903. Chico Resch has only 8 games played, one of which we saw. And he's got a 919 through those 8. New York Rangers leaning on Henrik Lundqvist, and that's been the play so far. 913 for him and 889 for Mike Richter. So Lundqvist has won the net there for sure. Over in Ottawa, Patrick Lalime has the net there, and only an 894 for him. Might want to consider giving Craig Anderson a couple more games. He's at a 903, though, so not like he's doing all that much better. But only 9 games played for Anderson, and the Senators are up there in a divisional playoff spot, so it's working. Philadelphia Flyers, 2 goaltenders with 909 save percentages. Bernie Perrant's the starter with 31 games played. Hextall behind him with 13. Pittsburgh, a tandem sort of working out here between Barrasso and Marc-Andre Fleury. And they're both doing pretty well. A 928 for Barrasso, a 924 for Fleury. Doesn't matter which net you put Fleury in, he's been doing well. And Barrasso's got the starting job here, and that's working out for the Penguins. That's one of the big reasons they're near the top of the standings. And here's the reason that the Sharks are near the bottom. Evgeny Nabokov, 36 games played, and 894 for him. Vesa Toskala, the backup, a 907 there. So some issues in net for the Sharks, but they've got issues all over the place. We saw their point structures, nobody really blowing the doors off point-wise either. So St. Louis Blues are running with Curtis Joseph as their starter, and it's been working out well for them. A 919 for him, 22-9. His record in regulation. Michael Ute, hey, they fixed his picture. Before the last update, and also in the last video then, this used to be a picture of forward Wilf Paymont of the Toronto Maple Leafs. It is now, I believe, I've never seen this guy before, but at least it's a goalie, so that's probably him, which is better than it was before. So good job, EA. You fixed it. Michael, 892 save percentage for him. And he is himself, so that's fun. Tampa Bay Lightning, Nikolai Habibulin has been the starter there. It looks like they're maybe starting to make the switch to Ben Bishop, because I believe Habibulin had a bigger lead in games played at 895 for him and 916 for Bishop. So hopefully they have made the switch to Bishop, because it looks like that's the play for them. The Toronto Maple Leafs Might need to make a switch too. Johnny Bauer with a 905. Turk Broda with a 933. 28 games for Bauer, 16 for Broda. We'll see what happens there. I'll probably go make a switch for them too if it's not already been done. Because those are some big-time numbers from Broda, and I believe their overalls are very similar. Not as similar as I thought. Vancouver Canucks, Roberto Luongo, an 887. Not good on Florida, not good on Vancouver for him. Kirk McLean not being much better. Only one win for him in 8 starts. Or 8 games played, anyway. And an 892 so far for Kirk McLean. Washington Capitals, one of the top teams in the league, not getting amazing goaltending. The starter is Braden Holtby, only a 909 for him. Not awful, but not great. And Olaf Kolzig coming in as the backup has been playing much better. It's a 920 for him. We might make a switch there, too. Not the Capitals need it. They're up at the top, but Kolzig seems to be the better goaltender, so we might make a swap there. Winnipeg, Connor Hellebuyck is the starter with 34. Bob Essenza, I still don't know how to pronounce that entirely, with only 8 starts for him. 906 for Hellebuyck, a 903 for Essenza. And those are your league goaltenders. Alrighty. So that's everything we're going to take a look at there. We've got to look at the standings. We've got to look at the player stats so far. So that's going to be the end of this one. We're pretty much back on track now. We're at least in the same month. As I record this, it's January 4th for real. It's January 4th on the calendar. I actually didn't mean for that to be the case. It's just where the game I wants to play are, but that works out nice. So we'll start off here, and I'll try to keep it a bit more updated now that I'm settled back in at home and got more of a regular schedule coming here. So we'll try to get these out a bit more and stay as close. It's not going to be day by day like it's working right now, but as close with the in-game calendar, with the real-life calendar as we sort of can, and get these going. So what we'll do, coming up right after this, if you've seen this, it'll probably go up. Probably be on the channel right next to this, if not right away, in about an hour or so. We will do the Colorado Avalanche and the New Jersey Devils. And then right after that, on the next day, January 5th, I might split this up and do that one tomorrow. Yeah, let's just do that. Let's do the Colorado Avalanche game now. I will record that. I'm going to stop this video, record that video right away, and then my next recording session, which might be tomorrow, we'll see, we'll do the Chicago Blackhawks and the Detroit Red Wings. So next up, thank you for watching this one. Coming up next is the Colorado Avalanche and New Jersey Devils. This was Stats and Standings for November and December, and we're back on track.